years, 8 Super Bowls, world's greatest football player in the last 2 decades. He's hanging up because we're hung up on Alex Guerrero. Quarterbacks, take control of your career. Finally, Tom Brady's like, yeah, this guy makes me last longer. I'm gonna travel with him. Check. Aaron Rodgers, this franchise tag is garbage. I'm trapped for 5 years. He says it. Check. Kirk Cousins. No, I'm not going to sign with Washington. You didn't give me the respect I deserve to win a bunch of games. I'm out of here. I'm going to be a free agent, and I'm going to put myself on the market. Check. In our football culture in America, we bristle at the idea of Kirk Cousins saying no to a team, and Aaron Rodgers saying the franchise tag is garbage, and Tom Brady saying I'm traveling with a trainer. I don't get it, never have, and I am for 100% behind franchise quarterbacks having, I don't know, an 1/8 of the power. Tom Brady hung up because we're hung up on Tom Brady. Ridiculous.
College football is back. Labor Day weekend on FS1. Catch 3 great matchups, including Heisman hopeful Bryce Love and Stanford hosting San Diego State. Also, Texas looks to avenge last year's upset against Maryland. 3 days of football starting Thursday on FS1, or stream all the action live on the Fox Sports app.
Keep your eye on that Texas game, folks. Tom Herman's second year. DraftKings is hosting a free team pick'em promo week 1. All you got to do is pick half the winning teams. You get your share of $1 million. I'm not joking. It's that easy. Go to DraftKings.com/pick'em, DraftKings.com/pick'em for details. Any promo code in that company, go HERD, HERD. You get savings. So Odell Beckham signed a gigantic contract. Yesterday on Speak for Yourself, Jason Whitlock and Bucky Brooks, 2 guys I work with a lot, had different opinions. So let's lay it out for you.
I think the Giants have made a mistake. I think that Odell Beckham Jr. has been on his best behavior this offseason to get the money. I don't think he loves the game. I think he loves the attention. I think he loves being a celebrity. Now he's got the money to be that kind of celebrity, and that's what they're going to get. They got a celebrity wide receiver. He's not Julio Jones. He's not Antonio Brown. They will not get their money's worth out of this deal.
Oh, I disagree. I believe he's the engine to that Giants offense. And if they didn't pay him, if they didn't retain him, that offense can't function. Eli Manning is a different quarterback when number 13 isn't on the field. The New York Giants had to open up the bank because he is their most important player.
Both make points I agree with. Eli is a different quarterback with Odell Beckham. You just look at the numbers last 3 years. You can't deny it. I also think he's a celebrity more than a wide receiver in his mind at times. But we know this to be true. What I'm about to say, that we know what I'm about to say is true. That certain things can be okay on their own, but much better. You know, I haven't had a jelly sandwich since I was 8. I have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich 6 days a week. Then I just suddenly love jelly, right? Like, we know certain things on their own, combined with something, flourish. This happens all the time. And I'm gonna give you something called the Pat Shurmur effect. 3 things are going to happen, some good, some bad, because of Pat Shurmur. Case Keenum had huge numbers last year. They will decline in Denver precipitously because he doesn't have Pat Shurmur as his offensive coordinator. Case Keenum numbers are going to drop like a rock. He's had 1 great year in his career with Pat Shurmur. Eli Manning's numbers will improve dramatically from Ben McAdoo to Pat Shurmur. I guarantee you this year, not just because of Saquon Barkley, because Ben McAdoo still doesn't have a football job, and Pat Shurmur's probably, after Kyle Shanahan and McVay, a lot of people think the smartest offensive guy in the league. And third, the Vikings lose Pat Shurmur as a coordinator. They're going to go from about 13 wins to 9 or 10 wins. And I like Minnesota a lot. But one coach is going to have a massive effect in this league, Pat Shurmur. And why am I bringing him up? Because I think the New York Giants sat there and thought, nobody really knew who Stephon Diggs was. And then Pat Shurmur. And Case Keenum was kind of average. And then Pat Shurmur. Is that I think if you're the New York Giants and you look at Pat Shurmur and then you look at Odell Beckham and you're saying, you know what, for 4 years together, he'll create real football magic. And we know this. Matt Ryan is a good quarterback, had Kyle Shanahan, was a great quarterback. Kyle Shanahan left. He went back to being a good quarterback. I think one of the reasons the Giants make this move is Pat Shurmur. That's why when Jason Whitlock and Bucky go back and forth, I could agree with both. Both of what they say, I agree with. But I think in the end, the Giants said, and I kind of get this, is we're going to get a running back with a number 2 pick because of Pat Shurmur. And we're going to sign Odell Beckham to a long-term deal because of Pat Shurmur. And we're not going to draft a quarterback yet. We're going to go with Eli 2 more years because of Pat Shurmur. And they're not necessarily wrong. Look how bad Jared Goff looked with Fisher. Look how good Jared Goff looked with Sean McVay. Look what Kyle Shanahan did to Jimmy Garoppolo. 5-0. Look what happened to Matt Ryan when he lost Kyle Shanahan. I know this is not some sexy topic. You don't want to talk about Pat Shurmur. But if I'm the Giants, a big part of drafting Saquon, passing on a quarterback, signing Beckham is this guy. And I think outside of Sean McVay with the Rams and Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers, a lot of people look at Pat Shurmur as that guy that just takes offensive weapons that are good and makes them great, and the great talents he makes into spectacular players. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
So John Lynch made his first big move as GM of the 49ers when he traded for Jimmy G. Mm-hmm. But apparently, Jimmy G wasn't the only quarterback that Lynch was eyeing. Let's take a listen to his recent appearance on Part of My Take.
Did you ask for Tom Brady?
I'm not supposed to talk about that.
We can't talk about another man's job.
You did, and that's okay.
So,
that's a bold move.
But I like that. Like, it's your first year in the league as a general manager. Why not just take shots?
Yeah,
Worst thing that happens is to say no, right?
Yeah, we were calling about Jimmy, and we did have that conversation, and got quickly rebuffed. And
yeah, I'd say so.
I figure, what the heck, you got to take your shot, right?
Yeah.
You can't score if you don't shoot. So I had to summon up the courage, and Bill
Did
laughed.
They laugh?
Yeah, Bill laughed at me.
That's awesome.
And basically hung up on me, but hey, I took my shot.
Hey, shoot or shoot, That's an amazing story.
It's an amazing story that they got Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick.
That is. But the second storyline B, that he had the guts to ask for Tom Brady is so amazing. That's guts.
Lynch is good. Lynch used to work here at Fox. I covered John in Tampa. You know how you work with somebody and you always know, they're going to be successful? Lynch was one of those guys playing. He was out of Stanford. He went to Stanford to be a quarterback, became a DB. And it was always like, John's one of those guys. He's like a less famous John Elway. Like you meet John Elway. Russell Wilson has that effect to me. Like when you meet Russell Wilson, I remember meeting Russell Wilson at a Super Bowl and telling at the time, my producer, Vince Cates, I'm like, he's going to be commissioner. Like, you're just like, that is a culture-changing human being.
They have a certain finesse about them.
And they walk into a room, and it's the look, and it's the personality, and everybody likes them, and they just lubricate the room, and Lynch has always been one of those guys.
And apparently they live without fear.
Yeah.
Because they asked for Tom Brady in trade. Speaking of Tom Brady, the Patriots receiving unit been sliced pretty thin this preseason. They've cut Malcolm Mitchell, Jordan Matthews, Kenny Britt, Eric Decker retired, and of course Julian Edelman will miss the first 4 games due to suspension. So it's not too surprising that Dez Bryant's name's been thrown around, and here is Tom Brady on Dez.
I know Dez just a little bit. I think he's obviously a hell of a player. But, I don't make those situations for our team, and I don't, go in there and tell them who I want. And that's not the position I've ever played. You just respect our team for what they're looking for.